So we've been working on a series in October about the path of the soul. We've been trying to really understand the infinite gifts and opportunities that are ours on a daily basis to live at that higher level, to live aware of our soul, our purpose and our expansion, our destinies. On the very first week, we talked about your soul purpose versus goals, and how the soul purpose is really that underlying reason for being, and it should actually be the underlying reason for establishing goals. All of our goals should theoretically fit in our purpose. You know, like Jesus said, and I shared with you, his purpose was to share the love of God to all men, that love that never dies, that is in all things. And so all of the goals that he did, all the places he visited, everything that he did fell under that. And when we have that awareness of our purpose, then the goals we establish, we can establish more clearly, right? We can say to ourselves, does this really fit my purpose? Have you all been working with that a little bit?
Yes.
All right. Then last week we talked about finding love in small doses. How we tend to love the big moments. We love when we get that great, fabulous, aha, overwhelming love. Don't we love it? But we talked about how we needed to walk as spirit, finding those little moments where the love is just as pure and as wonderful, and we can find it in moments during our day. And then our life becomes filled with these beautiful pearls of moments. Have you all been working with that? Aren't you guys evolving so beautifully?
Yes.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about evolve or elevate. So this is from Spirit. Both are good, right? Okay. Evolve. When we evolve, we're typically learning through our experiences. It's an evolution. We have experiences, we alter. We have experiences, we alter. When we elevate, this is a condition when we lift above our consciousness into our potential. Elevate. Evolve. Evolve is basically the human way. It's what we're taught. We're taught to follow my lead, try it this way, now you'll try again. Do you understand? That's the human way. It's what we're taught. We are not taught elevation in our consciousness as in the USA anyway. Elevate requires you knowing spirit. It requires you lifting into your potential, and until you know spirit, do you even know your potential? So, two different ways of walking, both fabulous. Yes? Okay. Evolving is wonderful. It's a wonderful way to grow. It just requires experiences which take energy and time. But you gain understanding of how you want to navigate in the world. And most of us evolve and we learn how to be better, how to get what we want, and we repeat our experiences until we decide we want it differently. So repetition becomes a part of evolution. So I do that really well. Yes, you do. You do it really well. Elevating is when we let our spirits play. We let the divine guide. This deals with how to live in spirit on earth beyond the view of man, where you really don't know what's happening, but you trust this connection that you have with your divine essence. All right. Everybody say, I understand.
I understand.
And I acknowledge I play in both arenas.
I acknowledge I play in both arenas.
And both are good.
Both are good.
How long do you want to hang? How many times do you want to repeat it? It's your choice, it doesn't matter. I want to share with you a parable that Jesus shared in his early teachings. This is before he began his ministry with the people in his country. And this is chapter 33. So he's dealing with people that are not Jewish, they're of another faith, and they have a caste system, which that's kind of oppressive, isn't it? When you're born into a level of caste and you really are told you can't rise above that your whole life. That would be hard, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So they're talking he's telling them about this Father God, new idea to them, that can make their life a boundless joy. New idea to them. How is this possible? And he tells them this parable. A certain man possessed a field, and the soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide enough food to keep his family from want. One day a miner, who could see beneath the soil in passing on his way, saw the poor man in his unfruitful field. He called the weary toiler, and he said, "My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and you sow and you reap in scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will dig and delve down deep, you will no longer till the soil for nothing." And the man believed. And he said, "This miner surely knows." He said, "I will find the treasures hidden in my field." He dug away and found the gold. And then Jesus said, "The sons of men are toiling hard on the desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils. They are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they can do anything else." Now, the parables, Jesus would talk to people about things that were familiar to them. They would understand it, and then he would bring the profound into it. Now, you guys don't understand tilling soil, do you? So you have to translate it into your language. Like doing things every single day, going to a job you don't like, being in a relationship that doesn't serve you, doing things that you barely can get sustenance from. Barely. And someone comes to you and says, "You know, you have this great potential. I see it in you. You're magnificent." And then you think, "Okay, my parents never told me that. I can do nothing more than my fathers before me. My society did not encourage me to do that. My teachers never saw that in me. My boss doesn't see it in me now. Who are you and what are you saying to me?" Now have I found you? Yeah. Okay. Okay. When we live thinking that we are at this level and this is the only level we'll ever be, or we won't go beyond or succeed greater than or do something different than our fathers. Now you guys will tell me technology speaks a different story. And that's true. My earthly father never had a cell phone. He never owned one. He died without one. He died in 2000. He never had a cell phone. Landline. He was retired. He didn't need a cell phone. He just needed his landline. Okay? Different worlds, right? But how much of his behavior is still in me? How much of his attitude toward being prepared? You to be prepared. How much of this is still in me and in my siblings and in my nieces and nephews and blah, 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 blah? How much of that work hard ethic, which is tremendous in him, is in us? The idea of going beyond what the fathers have taught us. You know, when I was younger, technology was being brought on board, and it was being brought on board for one reason. They said, "This will make your life easier. You will have more time at home." That's what they said. You'll have more time at home, and it's going to make your life easier. What it did was it enabled us to work smarter, longer, harder. Did we change? No, we're still our fathers. We're still the people that led the way before us. You see? So it's not so foreign an idea that we are still not allowing ourselves to do greater than those that led the way for this moment. We can bring in all these extra tools, but are we really letting ourselves see the miner inside, see the gold inside? And remember why Jesus told this parable. He told the parable because the people said, "Show us how to find the boundless love." And he said, "Boys and girls, you cannot find it the way your parents taught you. Do they have it? No. You've got to go inside and find God. You've got to go deeper. You cannot be the children of your earthly parents. You have to go within and see, who am I as spirit?" And then he taught them, it says he taught them how to go within and how to look for the treasures in their heart. And then they could find the joy. Did it change the caste system of their country? No, but did it change them? Yes. It changed them. Are you guys following? Okay. Are you inspired? Now, we're talking about elevate or evolve. What are we talking about in this particular parable? Are we evolving or elevating? We're elevating because elevation is about accessing potential beyond the human way. Easy, right? Okay. I wanted to share a little poem with you. Many of you have heard it. It's an older poem. It was written by a lady who was 85 years old. I love this poem. So I'm going to share it with you, and even if you haven't heard it before, hear it with me again. 85 years old, from Louisville, Kentucky. Her name is Nadine Stair. If I had my life to live over, I'd like to make more mistakes next time. I'd relax and limber up. I'd be sillier than I've been this trip. I'd take fewer things seriously and take more chances. I'd climb more mountains and swim more rivers. I'd eat more ice cream and less beans. I'd have perhaps more actual troubles, but I'd have far fewer imaginary ones. You see, I'm one of those people who live sensibly and sanely, hour after hour, day by day. Oh, I've had my moments, and if I had to do it over again, I'd have more of them. In fact, I try to have nothing else, just moments, one after the other. Instead of living so many years ahead of each day, I've been one of those people who never goes anywhere without a thermometer, a hot water bottle, a raincoat, and a parachute. If I had to do it again, I'd travel lighter than I have. If I had my life to live over, I would start barefoot earlier in the spring and stay that way later in the fall. I would go to more dances, I would ride more merry-go-rounds, and I would pick more daisies. Isn't it beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
And was she evolving? Yes.
Absolutely.
This is the journey of evolution, but what does she want? She's saying, I want different. I want to walk into the unknown. I don't need to be prepared. I just need to try. She's actually saying, next time I would try elevating. I would try lifting into my potential and making mistakes and really being present with myself rather than trying to stay prepared for every little thing that might happen. How many of you let that prepared Boy Scout consciousness stop you? You know, I teach my students the minute they start in seminary the definition of a master. Because I need them to know it. Because I want them to master something. A master is the one through whom an answer can be found. It is not the one that is prepared. It is not the one that knows everything. It is the one that knows how to find the answer. And any of you that are master of any topic, exercise, work modality, you know what I'm talking about. You own your skill, but you don't know it all. But you know that you can ask. And the truest master in a spiritual sense is the one who knows to turn to spirit. I don't have to know everything God does. But I can open and I can elevate, I can ask, I can connect, and I can find the answer I need. Are y'all feeling the differences in the two modalities? All right. I wanted also to talk to you about another story Jesus gave, and this time he's talking to his disciples. This is several years later, probably maybe even 10 years later. And he's preparing them right before he leaves. Okay? So he's talking to his disciples. These people already know, they've already been taught, they're already doing miracles, teaching. He's preparing them for him to leave. Do you understand? Okay. The paths of carnal life do not run up the mountainside towards the top. They run around the mount of life. They evolve around. If you go straight to the upper gate of consciousness, straight, you will cross those carnal paths. Do not walk in them. Our world still teaches us this around the mountain, does it not? And you're not ready. You need to do that lap one more time. Yeah, 3 or 4 more times. Okay, that's good. Now you can take the next lap. And we do this. And finally, if we stay diligent to our evolution, we will reach the top, will we not? And when we reach the top, will we be so full of experiences, so full of things we've learned? And it's not a bad way to learn, is it? But Jesus is saying there is a path of the Christ that you can follow if you seek Christ in consciousness. And you don't have to do this anymore. You can just go straight through. And when you're going straight to the top, don't step in the path you're crossing. Don't stop your journey. Don't get caught back in the beliefs of the world around you. And how many of you have allowed the beliefs of the world around you to take away your expectation, your joy, your affirmations of self? But we all do it. We allow the beliefs of the world around us to take away our joy, to take away our expectations, to take away our knowing of spirit. How many of you would have the courage in your workplace to tell someone when your boss calls you in and says blah, 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 and you say, yeah, I am so sorry that you misunderstood my attempts. I did intend to do well. I will pray over that next time and see if I can get some angelic help here. Good. Yes. And you know what your boss will say? You better have some big, giant angels with you. They will never tell you don't pray. They will say, absolutely, bring in all you got, because we need this fixed. Living our truth, living the path where we can elevate instead of evolve. Okay. I wanted to share just a few little ideas that might help you understand. I've known many people who are metaphysical authors and writers. And I know of several of them, who they started writing these profound metaphysical books when they had found themselves in dire straits. They lost everything, they were living out of their car, they didn't have a dime. Do you hear what I'm saying? And yet they wrote profound, beautiful metaphysical books. And I've known other people who decided they had to walk in their footsteps. That if they were going to write a profound, beautiful book, they had to lose everything. I have known them. And they would diminish and diminish and diminish until they found themselves in their mind deprived of all earthly possessions and goods, and then waiting for the divine book to be given to them. Okay, as we look at our authors that were successful, are we talking elevate or evolve? We're evolving. We're not elevating. We're evolving. But we're not going up that mountain. We're going down the mountain. And why would God, in that last moment of dire need, open and give them a book?
Because they were receptive.
Because they asked. Because they asked. They said, God, finally nothing else is in my way. I've given up everything and now I am ready to hear. That's why they got the book. Because they asked. Could they have asked before they lost their home?
Yeah.
They could have. They could have. But in order to do that, what would they have had to do? Elevate. You see the difference? I know of another woman who I know, spoke to her many times. This is a little older news, but she went to church in another state with a man, and they went to Sunday school together. It was a metaphysical Christian church, and she went to this church, and there was this man there, and she said he was, they had very enlightening conversations during Sunday school, and he was kind of dull. And they just, she was leading, and she was, just embracing metaphysics, and he was kind of just there. He wrote a bestseller, and she said, how did he do that? He's not bright enough to write a bestseller. That bestseller is still a bestseller today. His bestseller's been on the market for over 20 years. What did he do? He elevated. He elevated. That's when we are doing our journey and we're saying, you know what, something inside me is calling me to greater. Something inside me is lifting me up. And if I look to the path of my predecessors, if I look to the path of the people around me, a lot of you think you've given up your earthly family, but you still look to the people around you. If I look to them to follow them, how far am I going to go? They do not know what's inside me. How can they know? I have to go dig in. I have to go find that mine. I have to go with them. You all hearing me? So evolution is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. It's great. I mean, we get to really see ourselves in so many different ways, and then we get to learn, and we get to knock off some edges and refine our beingness. But how much time? How much time? In evolution, you're still dealing with healing your relationship with the pre-existing paths that the humans take to God. Elevating, we're trying to find our own path to the divine within us, to God the Greater, to that spiritual consciousness that only we can find for us in our heart. Doesn't that sound so easy? All right. I know people have told me over the years, oh, Cindy, you're such an optimist. You need to know pain to know joy. And I say, oh, yeah, no, I don't. I know what joy feels like. And I know what God feels like. And I don't need to have any comparison. When you feel it, and it's real. So, yeah, if you want to know pain to know joy, that's fine. You'll be on the circle around. But maybe we could do both. Maybe there will be moments in your life when you'll say, let me elevate on this one. God, you know, higher self, you know the plan for my life. I'm just going to breathe in this wee little bit for this area of my life because I myself cannot do it. And just let yourself receive. Isn't this simple? Okay. All right. In elevating, when you begin, I will give you 2 steps. Yay! The first step is, Spirit, I would like to elevate in consciousness this area of my life. Number 1, what do I need to let go of to make it happen? You probably have an anchor hanging somewhere on your body. What do I need to let go of? Because your space is already filled with everything that you own right now. You're not walking around with empty space and consciousness. So let me just see what I can release to receive. Does that feel comfortable with everybody? The second question is, now, what step do I take to start? I'm elevating. I'm being a channel for the divine. What's my first step now? I'm releasing something, and I'm taking a step forward. Those are two simple steps. Can you do them? Can you remember them? Release and forward. Use those 2 words. Release and forward. Release and forward. Okay, so Metaphysical Christians, this is our poem that I wrote in Nadine style. This is for a song. If I had my life to live over, I would stop worrying about what others thought of me and start truly caring about myself. I would play regardless of my finances. I would take chances on love even when it doesn't make sense. I would trust my spirit's greatness, and I would never let the world tell me I was small. I would walk with God even in the little things. I would trust divine guidance over my own mind. I would live as if life were the greatest gift I could receive. And I would leave this world brighter because I had been there. If I could do it again, I would remember that Spirit is in charge, that Spirit creates all, and I would play my role in matter like a spiritual master. I would walk with God. Can you breathe in all that? Now, the wonderful, wonderful thing about our journey on this planet is we start a new life every day. We don't have to wait to go be reborn. There is no circumstance that you have currently created in your life that cannot change. There's no circumstance that cannot change. It can all change. And it begins with us just seeking to change. Now, when you become more seasoned, evolution doesn't look that good. We need to elevate. You young kids may still want to evolve a little bit. That's fine. That's your choice. But finding Spirit, becoming Spirit, embracing our Spirit, embracing us. We are the dynamic gift that we were sent to find. We are it. And that's our job. And that's our goal. All right, let's go within and anchor this. Oh, just breathe and feel that beautiful love just coming over you. Father, Mother God, we are spirit. We are spirit. I want each one of you, let your focus just go to your heart and just feel that love of God surrounding you. Nearer than hands and feet, this beautiful presence of God. Imagine that you can just sense this light around you, no longer aware of anyone to the right or the left or behind. Find yourself in a sacred space with God. I claim my divinity. Father, Mother God, I claim that I am your child. I open to my greatness. And in your mind's eye, see a visual of the energy around you. Just imagine you can see the colors swirling around your body, your auric field, your energy. And I want you just to look at the energy in motion. Ask to see, is there any area where I'm evolving in a very slow pace? Notice the pattern as it goes by and just ask what it pertains to. Where am I evolving at a slow pace? Don't judge it, don't change it, just look at it. And now watch your energy and ask, is there anything that would be really easy for me to elevate in, where I can just let Spirit move into me quickly, that would bring me joy and peace? And again, watch your energy field and you may see a color or emotion. And then ask, what does this pertain to in my life? And take a breath. Now you speak to God what you want to speak to God. Whatever you've asked, feel that agreement being established. And Father, Mother God, I am ready. And take a breath and just bless your entire energy field. Evolution and elevating, bless it all. You are a master. Everything is working for your greatest good. Bless it all. And just feel that presence of Jesus Christ with you, the Master who walked this earth. And feel the love of God. And feel your divinity sparking. I am safe. And I am free. And I am fabulous. Take a breath. Feel your heart openings and love into your world, to your energy. Feel that spiritual touch. And when you're ready, let your focus go to your chair. And just gently allow your energy to come back into your body. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. You notice I didn't tell you what to say, did I? No one can tell you when it's time for you to make changes. Observing and just being aware is fabulous. You choose what you do. You choose when you shift. You choose when you bring in your spirit. But just know every time you turn to God, every time you ask for something, you are not alone. Spirit is with you, the angels are with you, your higher self is there. Every time. Isn't this fun?
Yes.
Say yeah, God.
Yeah.